Good evening, everyone.
Hey, David.
Hi,
Welcome, Jonathan.
Hi, nice to be here.
Chrissy, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Nate, how are you?
Oh, doing good. Thank you, sir.
Looks like we're just waiting for one more person.
Okay. Hi, Brenda. So let's wait a second to see if we have if Trey shows up, which I think he will, and also if Carrie comes. Just wait a minute or two if we can. Commissioner Barbary, we're actually going to have a quorum tonight, so you're in luck.
Yeah, thank you all for accommodating me.
Hi, Trace.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you? So let's get going. So I want to call the meeting of the Ethics Commission to order. The first thing I'd like to do is to welcome Jonathan Gifford, excuse me, to the commission. Your first meeting. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm an attorney here in town. I work over at Sturgill Turner Barker and Maloney as of now. And then I live in Lexington. I guess I've been a resident now ever since I got married. So it's been well over 20 years. And all my kids have grown up here and we live in the Tates Creek area and we like our town and want to make sure that it functions as well as possible. So here I am.
So, well, welcome to the commission, and we hope the commission functions as well as possible. So, with your participation. So the first order of business is to determine whether anyone has a conflict of interest regarding any of the items in the agenda for this meeting that would require you to recuse yourself. Any conflicts of interest? Hearing none, then we'll consider that the agenda is good with no recusals. The next item is the approval of the minutes from May 7th, 2028. You've all had an opportunity to review those minutes. Any changes or additions, or corrections to the minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve the minutes.
Is there a second? A second to approve the minutes?
Second.
All those in favor signify
Aye.
by saying aye.
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 So the minutes are approved. So the first order of new business is a consideration of a request for an opinion regarding a possible conflict of interest that's being submitted to us by Law Commissioner Barbary. So because Commissioner Barbary has not waived confidentiality, we're going to need to go into closed session to review and discuss this request for a advisory opinion. So I would entertain at this point a motion to go into closed session.
Well, before we do that, you might want to gather any kind of information prior, and then we can go into closed session for a discussion.
Let's get that in closed session. So,
I'm happy to answer any questions.
yeah, we can do that.
Am I
Yeah,
going into the closed session with you? That's kind of weird, but
I don't think we can go into closed session and ask him questions. I think we have to ask questions outside of closed session, and then we have our discussion in closed session.
I'm fine with the questions being answered in open. I prefer not to have the written opinion made public if possible, but otherwise I'm good with whatever your process is.
Yeah, my recollection is in the past that we've gone into closed session to actually ask questions about uh, the facts surrounding the possible conflicts of interest if confidentiality had not been waived, then went into executive session to discuss it among ourselves, absent the person requesting the advisory opinion, and then came out to offer our opinion in regards to that. Did I have that wrong, Gabby? That's not what we've done in the past?
I don't know what we've done in the past. I just know that closed session is for
Yeah, we can't make any motion or make any determination regarding the matter in closed session. It would have to be an open session.
right, but closed session is to the exclusion of everybody that's not in the commission. I would just ask the questions and then go into closed session for deliberation.
All right, okay, we can, that we'll take that as the legal opinion. I'm sure that Law Commissioner Barbary is okay with that. So
I don't have a problem answering the questions.
yeah, why don't you familiarize us a little bit with what exactly the matter is that you're asking an advisory opinion on? We have the written request, but
Sure. Yeah, so my son is going to start working for a law firm next month, probably about a month from today. It's a fairly large law firm. I think they have, I think I looked it up the other day, they might have 800 attorneys. So, and I described them as regional, but now I think they're probably almost a national firm at this point in time. We do work with them. We retain them on a regular basis for a decent, probably, several $100,000 a year, is what we end up paying that firm in total in legal fees. We typically do not, he's going to work in the Louisville office. We typically don't use their Louisville office, but they're the type of firm that might include their Louisville office on some work. He obviously would not be working directly on any cases that we have with them for other reasons, but so there's not like a direct tie-in, but I was a little concerned just maybe with what the perception would be given the amount of work that we do with them. I have no idea how they pay their associates over there. My guess is the funding that we pay them really doesn't go at least directly to him at all in his role over there. There may be some indirect tie-in, but I really don't know how they're structured as far as how they divvy up the amount, the monies that come in and stuff like that. So I'm really just asking kind of in an abundance of caution to make sure I don't need to be doing something differently in how we go about using this firm. Currently we hire firms off of a list A lot of times it's based on the specialties that that firm might have. And I end up processing all the bills that we pay the law firm. So if we're going to pay somebody something, normally I have to sign off on them getting paid for the work. So those are the things that kind of put me out there, wanting to ask the opinion.
So let me start by asking this. So in the process in which your son was hired, were you or your office in any way involved in that process, contacted regarding that
No,
in any way? Okay.
no.
Does any other commissioner have any questions about this particular situation?
I have just a quick question about your role with the list of pre-qualified firms.
Sure.
So, and I'm looking at the request for the opinion. So is it that you are among a group of people that decides which firm will receive a particular project?
Yeah, but usually it's me that signs off on that. I mean, I will talk to other people about which firm we should use. Like we could have a lawsuit show up tomorrow. I would talk to our director of litigation and maybe some other people about, which firm we might want to use for that. But ultimately that decision is typically mine to make.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's my only question.
Any other questions for Mr. Barbary? Jonathan, Trace, Brenda, Nate, any questions?
Do I need to hang out or?
Yeah, no, yeah. So what we want to do at this point in time, if there's no further questions, is we want to go into executive session. What we'll do is we'll ask you to step off the video
Okay.
conference. And then Mackenzie will contact you when we're done with the closed session and ready to go back into open session with a motion regarding the disposition of your request.
Okay.
I think we can just kick you to the waiting room, I think.
Yeah, that's fine. Just,
Okay.
Okay.
do I need
All
to
right,
do
so-
anything? We're just gonna
So,
kick you.
so could I get a motion for executive session?
I move to go into closed session pursuant to KRS 61.810.1J as discussion of A0-2026-002 may contain the deliberations of a quasi-judicial body regarding individual adjudications.
Is there a second for closed session?
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, Mackenzie, can you get us in closed session? Out of closed session, so thank you. Commissioner Barbary, welcome back. So we're now in open session, and I will entertain a motion regarding the request for an opinion letter regarding the situation that Commissioner Barbary has presented to us. Is there a motion?
I move that the commission direct the LFUCG's Law Department, independent of the review and participation of Commissioner Barbary, to prepare an opinion letter which accurately reflects the findings of the commission regarding AO-2026-002. I further move that the commission reconvene at a subsequent meeting to review what has been prepared by the law department for final approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, there's a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion passed. Commissioner Barbary will try to hold that special subsequent meeting to review and finalize that opinion letter as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so that you will have the official documented opinion letter.
Yeah, thanks for accommodating tonight.
Commissioner Barbary,
Right.
could you, you don't have to do it right now, but confirm with the law department the date that your son begins with the firm so that make sure that
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's almost exactly like a month from today,
Okay,
like September 20 something. So, yeah.
okay, because we want to make sure that we provide you with
Right.
the timely letter.
And we have workarounds if I need to do things differently than I'm doing them now. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have something prepared for you shortly.
Okay, great. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Okay, the next item is the review of the complaint.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, excuse me.
Could I go back to something that Commissioner Barber said at just the end? He said we have workarounds in case I need to do something differently. We might need to know what those workarounds are in place already because we can just maybe recommend one of those workarounds. Did you catch him saying that?
Yeah, I did. Even if there are workarounds, I think I would be more comfortable with someone like the mayor or the
We're
mayor's
back in, we're back in open
designee.
session, just so you know.
Yeah.
Just
So,
FYI.
yeah. So, yeah. So, so Gabby, if you could get information about what he had in mind,
Okay.
and when we come back, when we reconvene, let's hear what those workarounds are, and
Okay.
we can talk about them in comparison to what we had decided beforehand.
That would be great.
And I'll
Thank you.
hold my comments till then. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Chris.
Sorry.
All right. The next agenda item is a review of CO 2026-001, which was a complaint in regards to which I had made a determination that as a commission we lacks jurisdiction. That initial determination has been communicated to the complainant and respondents, but we as a commission need to review the matter and ratify my decision in that particular case. Since that matter did not involve a waiver of confidentiality, we need to go into closed session regarding a discussion of this complaint. So could I have a motion for closed session?
I
Yes.
move for closed session. I second.
Oh, we have. Go ahead, Nate.
Okay. I move to go into closed session pursuant to KRS 61810-1F and KRS 61810-1J to determine whether the Ethics Commission has jurisdiction to hear the complaint in CO 2026-1 as the jurisdiction inquiry compromises discussions which may lead to the discipline or dismissal of an employee, member, or officer, and also contains the deliberations of a quasi-judicial body regarding individual adjudications.
Is there a second?
Second, and sorry, Nate, that I interrupted.
Oh, that's quite all right. So we don't want to make any mistakes like the Fayette County School District made in going into closed session. So, so there is a second. All those in favor of going into closed session, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed. All right. Okay. So can we come out of closed session? So I will entertain a motion to dismiss the complaint in CO 2026-1 as complainants, civil service employees are outside of the jurisdiction of the Ethics Commission pursuant to section 2523(4) of the code and 67A-2080. And further move to forward said complaint to the Department of Housing, Advocacy, and Community Development and to the Division of Human Resources for further investigation. I will entertain a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried. So thank you. All right, moving along. So the next item is a report on the ethics tip line. Jonathan, I don't know if you're aware, but at all our meetings, we get reports of the ethics tip line that operates within LFUCG. And we usually get kind of the accumulated results over a course of a number of months. We asked the head of internal audit to tell us a little bit about how these reports are handled and communicated to us. And we received from him the report which was included in the material. And I don't know whether any of you have any questions about this. I mean, there are some interesting things here, especially in regards to the fact that these tip lines rarely ever produce anything substantial that requires any kind of serious investigation or follow-up. The head of internal audit did communicate to us that, in his opinion, it appeared as if there might not be any need for the commission to continue to receive these reports. Our counsel effectively and accurately pointed out that it's a requirement in the ordinance that we receive the reports. So unless the head of internal audit wants to move for an amendment of the ordinance, we're going to continue to receive these reports, even though there isn't a whole lot we could do with them or we need to do with them. So I don't know if there's anything else that anybody wants to mention or talk about in regards to these reports. If not, what I'd like to do is, could I ask for either Gabby or Mackenzie to prepare a letter for me to communicate back to the head of internal audit, thanking him for providing us with this report, which we found informative, and pointing out to him that we look forward to continue to receive these reports in the future in accordance with the ordinance requirement that we do receive the reports. If we could draft and then I'll sign off on that letter back to him, thanking him for it. So, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any other matters regarding? Okay. The next item, in new business has to do with the scheduling of meetings. So, a couple of things. Let me hold forth on this. So recently we had a meeting that we had to cancel because of a lack of quorum. It was a meeting at which Commissioner Barber was there. Prior to that, we had a meeting to hear a complaint, a preliminary hearing to hear a complaint involving very senior LFUCG officials along with their attorneys. And we had to wait over an hour to get that meeting going because of a difficulty in getting a quorum for the meetings. So my own view of the difficulties we have and the challenge we have sometimes with the quorum is that it's based on a number of things that I think we can address. One is that scheduling meetings for 5:30, it really is based on an assumption that all of us have a hard stop of work at 5 o'clock, and that's not true. I mean, I'm retired, but even at 5 o'clock, I want to continue painting, so I'm not ready to start to just stop work. So I think that the whole idea of starting the meeting a little earlier in the evening is problematic. We can do that later. The second one is holding meetings like this, holding a virtual meeting. There will be some subject matters and some circumstances where I think it would be imperative for us to meet in person. For example, if we actually hold a full hearing of a complaint, we should be there in person. But without that, or other than those kinds of situations, I think virtual meetings are satisfactory. So having virtual meetings scheduled a little later in the evening to accommodate what are perhaps more realistic timetables in regards to when we stop work would solve the problem to some extent. And then the third thing is that we have had the practice of identifying a specific date in the 4 months we meet, years in advance or a year in advance. And I mean, for example, we have a specific date right now for our November meeting. And my guess is at this point in time, none of us would know for sure, given our professional and personal responsibilities and calendar, whether that date would work. So I'd like to work with counsel, with Gabby, and see if we can't come up with a different approach to identifying for the public when we're going to have these meetings. We have to identify when we're going to have the meetings, and the public has to be given adequate notice to see if we can't commit to a specific date a little closer to the actual date of the meeting. So the likelihood is that we've guessed right regarding our availability might work. And then I think the final item for the solution here is that we have 8 members of a 9-member commission currently in place. If we could get that 9th member, then we'd have a little better luck of getting 5 out of the 9 for meetings. I mean, quite frankly, it's a little embarrassing to have to cancel a meeting when there's somebody from the public or an official with us here looking for assistance with the commission. So we really have to figure out how to be more reliable in terms of when we're meeting. So my solutions are uh, start meetings a little later in the evening, not real late, but a little later in the evening, virtual meetings whenever possible, and then schedule the specific dates of the meeting a little closer to those dates so that we would be a little better at guessing our availability given professional and personal commitments, and then see if we can't fill out the full 9 members of the commission to have a little better chance of getting 5 at any meetings. Does that make sense? Then that's what I'd like to move forward with, if that's okay. So
That makes sense to me.
yeah. Yeah, no, there's been no, as far as I'm concerned, this is not a problem of commissioners not being responsible in terms of the responsibilities we've taken on. It's a matter that commissioners are volunteers. We're not paid employees of LFUCG. We're volunteers with significant personal and professional responsibilities that we can't ignore or not comply with in trying to satisfy the requirements of the commission. So we're going to adjust some of the scheduling of the commission as we go forward, if that makes sense. That makes
It
sense?
does. Just
Okay.
for everybody's information, the KRS requires for all boards and commissions to publish a schedule with a time specifically and a place. So that could be, for example, 6 p.m. Virtually, and then a date to be specified. Maybe a day in Thursday or a day on in November or something like that. It's just if we make any changes, we would just have to republish a new schedule, which was administratively, it's no problem. We would just have to do that. So just letting you know.
Okay.
What's the holdup on member?
Pardon?
What's the holdup with finding a 9th member?
The mayor's office.
Oh, okay. I thought they had found out.
Yeah, so we query the mayor's office periodically as to what's going on, and so we've had some Jonathan's we've had some problems in the past where the commission was specifically required to draw upon certain organizations to appoint someone or nominate someone, and in some instances those organizations went out of existence. So it created a little challenge. So we've had to change the Ethics Act, which we'll talk about in just a second, but we solved, I think, that problem to some extent. So we'll keep querying the mayor's office to see if we can get a 9th person appointed. So it's okay. The final matter of new business is that Mackenzie pointed out to me, reminded me that according to the Ethics Act, the chair of the commission is appointed annually for 1 year. So my appointment as chair has now expired. And she noted for me that I can no longer serve as chair unless there's a reappointment. So we have to have another election for chair at this meeting. This would be the annual requirement. So I'm going to open the floor for nominations for the chair of the commission.
I would like to nominate David Blake to serve as chair of the Ethics Commission.
All right. Yeah. Any other nominations? Okay. One more year. Okay. That's it. All right. One more year. And then somebody else. Okay. Is there a second to that nomination?
Second that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. So one more year and then one more year and then Trace can be the chair. So. All right. So thank you. So old business. We have an approval for an advisory opinion letter that's in your packet. It was an advisory opinion letter that we prepared for Nancy Albright, a former employee of LFUCG, who was asking about any restrictions or stipulations regarding her new employment. I don't know if you remember that. So all we need at this meeting is to approve of that opinion letter. Well, you have it in the packet with you. And it basically reflects the discussions we had when we had Nancy before us and what the stipulations and requirements were. Any discussion? Can I have a motion to approve that opinion letter?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, that opinion letter has been approved. So the other thing I just wanted to note by way of information is that we have gotten a change to the Ethics Act. The council approved the changes to the Ethics Act that we had put forward, specifically to three sections of the Ethics Act. One having to do with who and when need to submit financial interest statements. The second having to do with membership on the commission, and exactly how many members constituted the commission. And we've changed the range from a nine member to a range from 7 to 9 members and the organizations. And then the third change has to do with the section under which we can handle complaints. And this is the section under which we recently handled the one complaint where I was able to make a determination of lack of jurisdiction and communicate that to the parties to the complaint in advance of us meeting. So that's the big change. Jonathan, in the past, even when it was absolutely sure or certain that we did not have jurisdiction, we had to hold a preliminary hearing and go through the whole process of a preliminary hearing to end up with a decision which was foregone based on the language in the Ethics Act. So we've gotten the council to amend the ordinance in the Ethics Act, which allows us a new process and a more expedited determination of lack of jurisdiction when that's the case. So it's a big change. I mean, it's been a problem in the past with a number of complaints where we had to go through a rather elaborate preliminary hearing process only to arrive at the decision which we knew would be the case before we had to go into it. So, but anyway, so that I want to thank Gabby in particular for shepherding those changes and for getting that through the council. I'm sure it was kind of an important process. So there might be more work that needs to be done on the Ethics Act as we go forward, but at least that's a big step forward. The next item on old business is financial interest disclosures. Where are we, Mackenzie, in terms of who's made disclosures and who haven't?
We still have six, sorry, the parrot is in the background. We have six members who still haven't turned them in. Two of them are retired employees, and the other two are former council members. So there's a little bit of trouble there just because they've changed addresses and they don't feel like they have to turn them in because they're not obligated to the system anymore. But we're working on that. And then we have six candidates who haven't turned them in yet. And my concern with that is that three of them are people who were primaried out, so they might feel like they don't need to turn them in anymore. But the plan is to send out letters sometime soon here, like in the next couple days, that basically say, hey, if you don't turn in your financial interest statement, you're going to have an order to appear for the November Ethics Commission meeting, and then send out the orders to appear in early October saying, or mid-October saying, you've been ordered to appear at the Ethics Commission and have to answer for not turning in your thing, and you may be issued a fine. So that's where we are right now.
Okay. All right. Let's hope we don't have to have anybody appear for meeting in November. So, okay. So as some of you or all of you know, except perhaps Jonathan, we have instituted a conflict of interest subcommittee that consists of me and Chrissy and Carrie. The purpose of this subcommittee is to review the whole regime under which we collect financial interest statements and review them and the like. And there's three questions that I would like to pose to this subcommittee for us to address at a meeting we'll try to schedule perhaps for September or October prior to the November meeting. All of this to be brought forward to the commission at the November meeting. And here are the three questions. Should the form currently used to collect financial interest statements be revised in order to improve the disclosure of possible conflicts of interest as intended under the Ethics Act? So the form itself is a little, not very clear as to what people might need to answer or provide information. And the second question is, would the disclosure of possible conflicts of interest be enhanced by informational or educational material provided to those required to submit financial interest statements. So do people really understand what's at stake here and being asked? And the third question is, what should the ongoing practices of the Ethics Commission be regarding its authority and jurisdiction over financial interest statements and disclosure of possible financial interest statements, disclosure of possible financial interest, conflicts of interest in these statements they're intended to capture. So those are the three questions that I would like for the three of us to address and then to bring recommendations back to the full commission at the November meeting. Now, in order for us to have some objective basis upon which to have a discussion of those three questions, what we've done is we've divided the financial interest statements that have been submitted so far into three groups. One to be reviewed by me, one to be reviewed by Chrissy, and one to be reviewed by Kerry. So Jonathan, it's not been the case in the past that we've actually ever looked at these financial interest statements. So we're doing that now. So the three of us are going to review these statements and then get together, and based on our experience and looking at what's been disclosed, how it gets disclosed, what people say or what people don't say, the three of us to address these questions and then bring back some possible recommendations to the full commission at the November meeting. The other thing I'd like to do at the November meeting, and I'll give Gabby a heads up on this, is that one of the changes in the Ethics Act is that the commission now on an annual basis can make a determination as to whether there are other boards or commissions which should be submitting financial interest disclosures based on the work of those commissions and its responsibility. So at the November meeting, I'm going to ask the law department to review the boards and commissions that currently serve within LFUCG with a recommendation as to whether there are any additional boards and commissions whose members should be submitting these statements along with those who are already doing so. So that would be the other financial interest matter that we would address. So the November meeting will really be a meeting where, other things being equal, we're going to spend a good bit of time talking about this whole process, by means of which within the urban county government, we're collecting information about folks outside financial and personal interests and relationships, and that we might need to review or pay closer attention to what's being disclosed in these documents. So that's what lies ahead for us for November. So so Mackenzie has created three folders for the three of us with disclosures in all the folders. She's assigned us, I think an evenly bunch of, and it should take Chrissy. It should take us about an hour and a half to look through these documents, because I can assure you, what might be a good thing or a bad thing, not a whole lot's disclosed. So we'll just see how that looks and what it does look like. So, all right. So that's the financial interest. Any other old business or new business that people like to bring forward?
I have a question on the financial interest statements.
Yeah.
Mackenzie, was there ever an update on if the mayor's office could require former employees to just have like an exit contact information to the best of their knowledge that they have to fill out and turn in? Because I think that'd be very beneficial for us.
Yeah, I'll look into it. I don't know. I think it just fell off my radar, but I'll look into it. I'll ask HR.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And then council could have their own,
Yeah.
city council could have their own version of that as well, which would be great, ideally.
All right. And anything else? So if not, I'll thank you all for your participation this evening. Again, Jonathan, welcome to the commission. We look forward to you participating and will joining us in the future. And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. So we will work with Mackenzie to get a special meeting scheduled as soon as possible. That is, as soon as the Gabby has managed to put together a letter and some additional information for us to review regarding the advisory opinion for Commissioner Barbary. So, all right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you,
Be
David.
good. See you soon. All right. Bye now.